Before we start the PG conference, first and foremost, the opening prayer to be led by our head procurement unit, Engineer Amor Portales.
Okay, ituon po natin ang ating mga sarili sa Panginoon. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, ng Espiritu Santo. Amen. Panginoon, maraming salamat po sa pagtitipon ninyong muli dito sa amin upang gawin ang aming gawain dito sa BAC. Maraming salamat, Panginoon. Maraming salamat po sa nagdaang linggo na patuloy niyo kaming pinagkalooban ng malusog na pangangatawan, malinis na puso at malinis na kaisipan. At maraming salamat din, Panginoon, sa patuloy na pagdaloy ng biyayas sa bawat isa sa amin upang maitaguyod namin ang aming mga pamilya. Lord, sa oras na ito, pinagkakatiwala po namin sa inyo ang gawain ito. Hiling po namin, natasbasan po ninyo kami, pagkalooban ninyo kami ng kapayapaan sa isip, kapayapaan sa puso at karunungan upang magampanan namin ang gawain ito. Dalangin din po namin, Panginoon, na kaawaan po ninyo kami at patuloy niyo po pagkalooban kami ng karunungan upang patuloy namin magampanan ang aming gawain dito sa opisina at maging matagumpay ito, Panginoon. Ang lahat po ng ito ay hihiling namin sa pamamagitan ng Jesucristo, ang aming Panginoon. Amen.
Okay, to continue. The Bids and Awards Committee back meeting for today, November 20, 2023, is now also ordered. May we request again Engineer Amor Portales to please read the rules of attendance and the agenda of the PG conference.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our attendance for today's meeting for the pre-bid conference of 23EF0117. Sir Eugenio Alcaton, BAC Chairman.
Present.
Sir Ronald Spanga, BAC Vice Chairman.
Present.
Ma'am Maria Pecayo, BAC Member.
Present.
Ma'am Early Ayayo, BAC Member.
Present.
Sir Julius Kakatsa, BAC Member.
Good morning, sir.
BAC Secretariat, Arnel Portales, Abelardo Tupas, and okay. Our agenda for today's meeting for the pre-bid conference of contract ID number 23EF0117, construction of multipurpose building in Barangay Princess Urduja, Narra, Palawan. Today, November 28, 2023. Okay. Number one agenda, brief presentation, explanation by the following. Letter A, basic contract data, including contract description, ABC, and duration. And letter B, requirements of bidding documents, including instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, specifications, drawings, bill of quantities, and forms. And letter C, we have the documents to be submitted by the bidders. Under that letter C, we have number one, technical component envelope, and we have the Class A documents, legal documents, B, technical documents, C, financial documents, and letter D, Class B documents. For number 2, we have the financial component envelope. Under that number 2, we have letter A, financial bid form. Letter B, bid prices and the BOQ. Letter C, detailed estimate. And letter D, cash flow by quarter. For number 1 agenda, under letter D, we have the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. Number 2 agenda, we have the questions, comments from bidders, and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity. Number 3, summary of proceedings including supplemental bid bulletins to be issued. And number 4, other matters. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Sir Fatales. May we request our Vice Chairman, Engineer Ronald Supama, to please discuss the basic contract data.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning po sa lahat.
Good morning.
I will be discussing the basic contract data for this only one project scheduled for bidding on December 12, 2023. So we have contract ID 23EF0117. The contract name is Construction of Multipurpose Building in Barangay Princess, Urduja. The contract location is at Narra, Palawan. The brief description of this contract, it is a construction of 38.25 meters by 15 meters, two-story building with 15.9 meters by 5.3 meters in transports with ramp. This building also includes a multipurpose hall, audio room, storage room, food preparation area, office room, toilets, electrical room, network room, employees cafeteria with kitchen and laundry room at ground floor and overviewing balcony, 9 quarters and toilets at second floor, 4 solar LED light posts, perimeter fence, and 3-chambered septic bowl. The approved budget for the contract or the ABC is 28,950,000 pesos. The source of fund is under FY 2023 RA 11936, regular 2023 current, or yung unprogrammed fund. The contract duration is 270 calendar days. The cost of bidding documents is 25,000 pesos, and the pickup license requirement is small b. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chairman. May we request back member, Madam Engineer Maria Fecayo, to please discuss the requirements of bidding documents.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
These are the requirements of bidding documents, which include instruction to bidders, general conditions of contract, special conditions of contract, specifications, drawing, bill of quantities, and forms. For the instruction to bidders, the bidders must submit their technical and financial component sealed envelope into one big envelope. All interested bidders may acquire a complete set of bidding documents at Procurement Unit Office, Back Building, DPWH, Palawan 2nd BEO, Narra, Palawan, upon payment of applicable fee for bidding documents pursuant to the latest guidelines issued by the GPPB in the amount stated by Back Vice Chairman Engineer Ronald Supama on the basic contract data, or it may also be downloaded free of charge from DPWH's website www.dpwh.gov.ph and from Philippine Government Electronic Procurement System or PhilGEP's website www.philgeps.gov.ph, provided that the bidder shall pay the applicable fee for the bidding documents not later than bid submissions. Bid submission may be done manually or electronically online. However, bidders should only select one mode of submission, either manual or electronic. Similar to manual submission, the guidelines for preparation and submission of electronic bid are obtained in the bidding documents. Bids must be received by the Bank Secretariat through the DPWH Building 2nd floor, Backroom, Narra, Palawan for manual submission or at electronic bids with Palawan 2 at dpwh.gov.ph for electronic submission. All bids must be accompanied by bid security in any of the acceptable forms and in the amount stated in ITB Clause 16. For bid submission, the contractor's representative shall submit a copy of contractor's registration certificate or CRC or special power of attorney SPA together with government-issued ID. Bid opening shall be on December 12, 2023, 10 a.m. at DPWH Building, 2nd floor, backroom, Narra, Palawan. Bid will be opened in the presence of the bidder's representatives who choose to attend the activity. Late bids shall not be accepted. For the general conditions of the contract, the purpose is to provide standard terms and provisions of the contract applicable in all contracts in general without detailed information and data specific to the contract at hand. The GCC defines the contractual requirements and obligations of both the procuring entity and the contractor at hand. The obligation of the procuring entity is to provide you with the plans, inspections, and tests. For the contractor's obligation, number 1 is to carry out works per contract in accordance with the plans and specification within contract duration. Number 2, the contractor shall employ the trade personnel indicating their designation in accordance with ITB Clause 10.3 and specified in the BDS to carry out the supervision of works. The procuring entity shall approve any proposed replacement of trade personnel only if their relevant qualifications and abilities are equal to or better than those of the personnel listed in the schedule. Number 3, the posting of performance security. This shall guarantee the contractor's performance of its contract obligations up to the certificate of acceptance after the defects liability period and upon submission of the required warranty, security, and acceptable. The performance security shall also guarantee a recoupment of any advance payment. It must be posted in favor of the procuring entity and shall be forfeited in the latter's favor if it is established that the winning bidder is in default in any of its obligations under the contract. The GCC shall remain unchanged, so we have the special conditions of the contract. The purpose is to provide specific information in relation to the corresponding clauses and general conditions of the contract. The SCC shall specify contractual requirements linked to the special circumstances of the procuring entity and works procured. Some contents of the SCC are the intended completion and start date, required description of works, type of structures, and warranty period, amount and schedule of advance payment. The contractor's key personnel equipment requirements are stated in the bid data sheets. For the specifications shall reflect necessary minimum requirements. It should promote the broadest possible competition while assuring structural integrity and performance of the infrastructure. For the DPWH contracts, DPWH standard specifications for public works and highways or Blue Book. It shall be the basis standards to be met with materials and works to be performed. The project natin ay school building, kaya meron tayo po volume 3 for buildings. Standard pay items in the PCMA is used. Modifications in the DPWH standard specifications shall be special provisions in the contract at hand. For the drawings, this is our plan. It varies with the type and nature of the contract and works involved. It represents in accordance with accepted national and international standards and practices for infrastructure contracts based on detailed engineering which form part of design outputs. It consists of layouts, plans, profiles, elevation, section, site location, and perspective in accordance with sufficient detail and scale complemented by specs to enable the bidder or the contractor to gain clear, accurate presentation of required works. It is also a reference or guide in your implementation of the project. For the bill of quantities or the BOQ, The purpose is to provide sufficient information on the quantities of works to be performed under contract at hand, to enable the bidder to prepare bids efficiently and accurately. Yung BOQ po natin ay may 6 columns. Columns 1 to 4 is to be filled up by the procuring entity, and columns 5 to 6 to be filled up by the bidder. The bidder shall have changed the entries under pay item, which is in column 1, description in column 2, unit in column 3, and quantity in column 4, which are set by the procuring entity for each item in the BOQ. The bidder shall indicate its unit bid price in words and in figures in column 5 and its total bid price in column 6. Kailangan po magpatugma po yung inyong words and in figures. The TWG will check your submitted BOQ and posted BOQ. Any discrepancy in your submitted BOQ is modification of bidding documents and it is patently insufficient. Lagi rin po kayo mag-update ng postings of PhilJeps, baka po meron po tayong may bulletin at may pagbabago sa previous posting. For the forms, lahat ng ating forms ay standard and updated at lahat ng ating requirements sa bidding documents nakapost sa PhilJeps sa DPWH website at pwede niyo po i-download for free. That's all, Mr. Chairman, for the requirements of bidding documents.
Thank you, Madam Engineer Kayo, for the information. May we request Madam Maria Ayayo to please discuss further the documents to be submitted by the bidders.
Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning to everyone. So here are the documents to be submitted by the interested bidder for this contract, 23EF0117. So we have here Class A documents and, if applicable, Class B documents. Under Class A documents, meron din po tayo legal documents, technical documents, and financial documents. What are the documents to be submitted under legal documents? Number 1, valid PhilJeps registration certificate, platinum membership, complete in 3 pages. Number 2, registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, Department of Trade and Industry for Sole Proprietorship or Cooperative Development Authority, CDA for cooperatives or its equivalent document. Number 3, mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. Number 4, tax clearance per Executive Order number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue. For technical documents, number 1, statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Number 2, statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract, SLCC, similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. Number 3, Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board, PCAB license or special PCAB license in case of joint ventures, and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. And number 4, original copy of bids security. If in the form of a surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or original copy of notarized bid securing declaration. Number 5, project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' key personnel such as project manager, project engineers, materials engineers, and foremen to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification and experience data. List of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from the equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be, and also list of materials testing equipment or apparatus or certification from head of technical working group as proof po na inyong mga materials testing equipment or apparatus ay na-inspect na po ng technical working group. And number 6, original duly signed omnibus statement, and if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to each officer to sign the omnibus statement and do acts to represent the bidder. Under po sa financial documents, ito po ang dapat isubmit. Number 1, the prospective bidder's audited financial statement showing among others the prospective bidder's total and current assets and liabilities stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institutions for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. And number 2, the prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity, NFCC. So, for Class B documents, ito po ay if applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with Republic Act number 4566 and its implementing rules and regulation in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide by the provisions of the joint venture agreement in the instance that the bid is successful. So, para naman po sa ating financial envelope or financial component, here are the documents to be submitted. Number 1, original of duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Number 2, original of duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantity. Number 3, duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rental used in coming up with a bid. And number 4, cash flow by quarter. So, reminder lang po sa lahat ng mga interested bidders na all documents to be submitted must be filled out completely in clear copies, readable, paginated, and duly signed by the bidder. Yung atin pong gagamitin na bond is A4 size ng bond paper. At dapat po ang ating envelope ay mayroong complete name ng contractors. And ito rin po, any missing or incomplete or patently insufficient document in the above mentioned checklist ay pwede pong maging ground for outright rejection of your bid. So that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Madam Board Member Madam Ayayo, for the clear information and well-defined explanation. May we request our Board Member, Engineer Julius Capacha, to please discuss the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and good morning,
Good morning.
everybody. These are the criteria and procedures for examination and evaluation of bid proposals. First is the eligibility check. Second is the preliminary examination of bids. Third is the detailed evaluation of bids. And the last is the post-qualification and the award. The first criteria is the eligibility check. This is a simultaneous processing of electronic eligibility and manual checking of submitted legal, technical, and financial documents. First is the manual checking of eligibility. This is a non-criteria, discretionary, pass or fail, or presence in absence of required documents. Any missing or expired documents means ineligible. The bids in award committee will check manually the submitted legal and financial documents such as PhilJEB's Certificate of Registration, SEC, DTI or CDA registration, Mayor's and Business Permit, and Tax Clearance Certificate per Executive Order Number 398, Series of 2005. The financial documents such as the audited financial statement and computation of financial contracting capacity or the NFCC. The PhilJEB's registration should be valid in platinum membership, complete in 3 pages, and all documents must be updated. Missing or expired documents means failed or ineligible in manual eligibility. The electronic checking of eligibility. The authorized administrator or user will process the electronic eligibility of the bidders using the system provided for CWA or the Civil Works application. This is a database of contractors' legal, financial, and technical information. All bona fide contractors who wish to do business with the department are encouraged to enroll the registry. The BAC will receive a copy of the electronic eligibility showing results of pass or fail in the legal, financial, and technical aspects. Failed results to any aspect means ineligible in the electronic eligibility. The second criteria is the preliminary examination of bids. The first envelope, the technical documents. The BAC shall open the first envelope to determine the bidder's compliance or eligibility, technical and financial documents required as prescribed in IRR 9184 against the checklist to ascertain that they are present using the non-discretionary criterion as stated in the instruction to bidders. If a bidder submitted the required documents, it shall be rated passed for that particular requirement. Bids that fail to include any requirement or are incomplete or patently insufficient shall be rated as failed. Any missing document means failed or automatically disqualified. Statement of the prospective bidder of all ongoing government and private contracts, including awarded contract but not yet started, should be declared and filled out in the prescribed format. Certification of compliance of laboratory equipments issued by the head of the technical working group must be present. In case of new contractors, proof of ownership or purchase must be attached. Laboratory equipments must be company-owned, neither rented or leased. The Omnibus Source Statement or the OSS must be complete in 10 statements. Failure to comply with these requirements should also result to the outright disqualification of your bid proposal. Next is the second envelope. Same as with the first envelope, non-discretionary pass or fail criteria or presence and absence of documents. Any missing documents means failed. If present, means passed. After determining compliance in the first envelope and rated passed,
the box shall open the second envelope. For bidders whose first envelopes were rated failed, their second envelope will not be opened. It will be returned to the bidder or any authorized representative unopened. In case any of the requirements in second envelope is missing, incomplete or patently insufficient, and or if the submitted total bid price exceeds the ABC, shall be rated failed. The ABC shall be the upper limit or ceiling for the prices. Only bids that contain all bid requirements of both components shall be rated passed. The above item is in opening and preliminary stage. Next is the detailed evaluation of bids of the technical working group. This is the detailed evaluation of the bid that was opened, read, and rated pass. The purpose is to determine the lowest calculated bid, or the LCB. This is also to establish correct calculated prices of bids and ranking calculated total bid from lowest to highest. The completeness of bid will be checked. All blanks in bid form must be properly filled up. The BAC TWG will check all required items in bidding documents. That includes the following: unit price or cost of item. This is in the BOQ for the column 5 and 6. Placing no price is considered as non-responsive, while specifying is zero or thus means it is offered for free and it's responsive. Next is the minor arithmetical correction in case of discrepancies between the bid price versus bid prices in words. The bid prices in words will prevail. Total prices per item versus unit price per item quantity. The unit price per item quantity will prevail. The stated total price versus the total sum of prices of component items. The total sum of prices will prevail. Unit cost in the detailed estimate versus the unit cost in the BOQ. The unit cost in the BOQ will prevail. Next criteria is the post-qualification of the technical working group. This is to determine whether the bidder with the lowest calculated bid complies with and is responsive to all requirements and conditions of eligibility and the bidding of the contract to be declared the lowest calculated responsive bid. The verification and validation of the bidder's stated competence and experience, including the single largest completed contract or the SLCC, similar to the contract being procured. Verification of competence and experience of the bidder's key personnel to be assigned to the contract as against the minimum requirements under the bid data sheet. If proposed key personnel is an employee of the bidder and working on another project at the same time of the bidding, the bidder shall submit a certification that the personnel will be pulled out from the ongoing project once the bidder is awarded to the contract. He or she will be replaced with another person with equal or better qualifications as certified by the head of the implementing office, pursuant to Department Order Number 9 Series of 2012. The proposed key personnel and replacement must be named in the bidding document. Verification of availability and commitment and all inspection and testing for the required capacities and operating conditions of major equipments units to be owned, leased, under purchase by the bidder for use in the contract under bidding. The technical working group will conduct verification to all government and private offices to validate the performance of the bidder of its all ongoing and awarded projects with the lowest calculated bid. If any of this contract shows a reported negative slippage of at least 15% in a single contract, or a reported negative slippage of at least 10% in 2 or more contracts, Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on ongoing contracts within 7 days and to complete them within 30 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and deficiencies. Failure of the contractor to commence repair works on contracts with pending certificate of acceptance within 30 days and to complete the works within 90 days after receipt of the procuring entity's notice of defects and failures. Substandard quality of works as per contract and specification. Unsatisfactory performance of the contractor's obligations as per contract terms and conditions at the time of inspection. Liquidated damages currently imposed in the contract. The results of the contractor's performance evaluation system or the CPES should also be considered by the concerned BAC in determining the responsiveness of the contractor's bid before any award of the contract can take place as stated in item 12.5 Annex E of the 2016 revised IRR of RA 9184. If the BAC determines the bidder with the lowest calculated bid or higher rated bid passes all the criteria for post-qualification, it shall be declared the said bid as the lowest calculated responsive bid. The BAC shall then recommend the head of the procuring entity the awarding of contract to the bidder with the lowest calculated and responsive bid. The HOPE shall approve or disapprove the recommendations of the BAC within a period not exceeding 7 calendar days from the termination and declaration by the BAC of the LCRB. Failure of bidding will only be declared if no bids received, all prospective bidders are declared ineligible, all bids fail to comply with all the bid requirement or fail post-qualification, or the bidder with the lowest calculated responsive bid refuses without justifiable cause. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Engineer Caracha. Well spoken, well done. For the summary of proceedings, the BAC chairman shall convene the Bids and Awards Committee members to conduct the bid opening of the following activities. The first activity is to conduct preliminary examination through electronic bid submission, then manual checking of bid requirements for technical component and follows, determining the presence of each of the required documents in the technical proposal against the checklist to ascertain if they are all present using a non-discretionary pass-fail criteria, announce the results of the preliminary examination of all technical components, both compliant and non-compliant, to determine if overall the technical component of the bidder pass or fail, followed by eligibility checking. This is done electronically through the DPW Civil Works application, determine eligible bidder and ineligible bidders through electronic processing of bidders' capability and contractors' information versus contract requirements and contract profile. The next activity is to conduct preliminary examination by determining the presence of required documents in this financial component versus the checklist. Determine if overall the financial component of the bidder pass or fail. Announce the results of the preliminary examination of the financial envelopes with overall rating pass and fail. Finally, the BAC Vice Chairman shall read the total bid prices and bid security of the bidders found pass for both technical and financial proposal requirements. And the head BAC Secretariat shall enter the information in the abstract of bids as read. Engineer Portales, 2, we have supplemental bid bulletins issued.
Sa ngayon, Chairman, wala pa tayong wala pa kami nare-receive na bid bulletin. O kung sakali po, paki-check lang po lagi sa website sa ating mga bidders para masigurado natin kung meron tayong bid bulletin. Yun lang po.
Okay, noted. This ends our pre-bid conference. The BAC meeting is now adjourned.